Alright guys, so we're finally getting the motherboard back into this thing. We hit a few snags with getting cables routed properly. The motherboard was sort of lifting up on this back plate that we created to keep everything really clean inside the case. So we've had to do some re-engineering of that stuff. We also ran into a roadblock with the custom GPU water blocks that we had cheaps draw up. Those ended up being unfortunately too costly to produce for this build, so we axed that idea, ditched the 680s, and we'll be picking up some 780s to fill in the place of those graphics cards. We'll get them water cooled, we'll get all this stuff in, and hopefully in short time we'll have this thing put together, because you know we've been a little delayed on the updates, so we'll make it work now. I promise. Let's see.
Is there, I mean, I know you love overclocking, Andrew. Is there like a release of a game you hope to have this done so you can at least by the release you can have this running?
Mostly it's all the games that have been released since I've been working on this. So I've got a backlog that I need to hit up. So yeah, but we're making headway now finally, which is why we're shooting video now. So you'll see some progress soon. This is machine block aluminum, and this is a gorgeous piece here. You can see the detail throughout the pattern. Everything's awesome, and it's actually it is aluminum, but it's still a weighty piece just because it's so.
Well, look how much was hollowed out.
Right, it's so large.
It takes a bit of time.
Yeah, a wee bit. So you can kind of see here.
It's too shiny and new looking.
It is, and we were kind of going for, you know, beat up and war torn. So we'll figure out some sort of painting for this.
Well, here it is. We need to paint it to match the rest of our theme.
That's not exactly what I was thinking.
What were you thinking?
I thought it was that piece inside.
Name badge.
Cool. Ooh, wow. That's cool.
So you still have some of that gray paint left?
Yep. We'll come over here to the House of Color cabinet. Ooh. And we have mnpctech gray.
Is that it? Is that
No, that's yours. And there's mnpctech orange. And hey, there it is.
There it is. I've got the inside portions of the front bezel masked off, so we can have some exposed aluminum and in the center portion and do some kind of, I don't know, cool custom paint effect around that. So it's not entirely painted, because a lot of people express concern about painting the whole thing and not leaving portions of the aluminum exposed. It's all about what you want. That's what Brad tells his customers all the time. It's all about what you want.
Pretty much. Keep them happy and they'll keep coming back.
Do it right. Take your time. Okay. So, next step is some airbrushing. Did you already put black in there? Hello? Oh. EK, thank you so much for sponsoring this build with your awesome products. Peter asked me if I tore any skin off putting on the neural connections. That's what this is. This is called diamond knurling. I like the look of it. Don't you, Andrew? Isn't that cool looking?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think pure chrome worked the best for this build, but this is kind of their dark chrome.
Dark chrome, is that the name of it, or is it?
I want to say, well, I think bitspower calls it black sparkle, and I forget what EK calls it. They're very similar though.
Okay. And this shroud. Oh, just cool. All right, and then this will just this will come down to this pump connection right here. Yep.
Gonna have to swap out connector on there.
Yep. We've got to still sort out the lighting layout for like lighting in the ceiling and stuff. Flow sensor. Pretty slick. Watch your flow sensor.
Yeah. Look at pretty lights and things. So after much deliberation here with how to run this last bit of tubing, I was trying to go up in the corner before, but that wasn't working out so well. So I'm gonna end up doing kind of like a small loop out, and then it will go into our custom back plate and come out
Right here.
right back there.
Then it'll be a 90-degree connector, so it gets routed up here to the res. Hello? Hello, hi. All right.
So what we've done here is figuring out how we were going to run this final outlet. I was going to try to come through this corner, but that was too tight. So we're going to go through this back plate. And as you can see, what will happen is it'll sort of just be like that. And I think it's going to work out pretty well.
Mayhems special mix. Rebel Alliance red.
There you go. This is definitely a science.
Yeah.
A couple geniuses doing this thing.
Geniuses?
Yeah. Slowly
Looks cool.
bubbling down.
Looks cool until the disaster! No!
Imminent disaster. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time.
21, I don't know.
Just to add some final touch details to the cooling fan intakes on the front bezel, I'm adding these black rubber grommets and red anodized socket head screws. First the grommets into the 5 inner holes, and then the screws screw in through the grommets, just to add a bit more little detail to the front bezel. We just had a little tiny leak right here, and it was just a matter of turning it more, and what I did is got these rubber gloves so I could get a grip on it. So you'll probably find yourself in the same situation, or you have. Just get some surgical gloves, and that will help you get a grip on things.
6 degrees Celsius.
Can we have Fahrenheit, please?
No.
We are in America, even though it's made in Germany. So what kind of overclock are we looking at?
Well, with this kind of liquid cooling setup, I'm hoping I can keep it cool enough to run maybe 5 gigahertz for benching. It would be a really a good goal. I know a lot of people have done it, so it shouldn't be too tough. But I probably wouldn't run that every day at 5 gigahertz just because that's puts a little load on the system. So maybe around 4.5 for most usage, just depending on what kind of temperatures we see. That looks pretty cool. I like that they almost look like they're too close to the
They are.
the actual
the edge.
bezel, which is great.
Yeah,
It's an
that
awesome
was intentional.
Yeah, they do look cool when they're running.
It's different.
Yeah, look at.
To create a red glow in the upper grills on top. We're using bitfenix alchemy RGB lights, red lights, and we've already got one right there on the other side, tucked away, hidden. So it creates this low red light glow. And actually impressed because I've had these types of things sent before that have the adhesive backing from the factory, and it doesn't, I'm sure other people have had the same experience, it doesn't stick very well, but this actually, the adhesive backing on these sticks pretty well. So it's 3M. Yeah, 3M, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. This is phoyba brand, and we chose this because it comes with a controller, so you can change the brightness and colors. Obviously we're going to stay with red though, but we noticed something really slick though with the Cosmos 2 is that you can...
There's a nice channel in there.
Yeah, right where the clips are for the original front bezel. This will actually, we're going to add a little bit of 3M double-sided tape on it, but it can actually fit in there on its own. It'll sit in there. And then we're going to route the connection over to the other side of the chassis. But it's just sitting in there right now, firmly. There you go.
Yeah.
These are mnpctech overkill 120 millimeter fan grills. These are CNC milled from 1/2 inch thick 6061 aluminum. And these are going to go over the 2 cooling intake fans on Andrew's clear side window. And what we're going to do is apply a low gloss black aerosol paint. This is plastic coat engine enamel. And I'm not going to apply a primer / adhesion coat, because what we're going to do is, after the paint has cured, is sand over these so the edges of the aluminum are exposed and gives it a distressed and weathered look, or aged look. So I'm going to go ahead and apply probably 3 coats of paint and let it cure for about 6 to 8 hours before I go over and sand the surface. So here's our overkill ring grill after, I think I let it cure for about 10 hours today. And I'm just going to take some red Scotch-Brite and use this to go over the surface of the finish. Let's zoom in a bit. I'm going to go over all the edges. So you start to see that line around the perimeter. Of the aluminum. So I'll just keep doing this, going over all the edges and surfaces. In the end, what we'll have is like a real dark gray color with all the edges defined in silver. So pretty easy mod for creating a just weathered and aged look.
So we were at about 120 liters per hour reading off the aquaero before. What we did was we hooked together the 2 DDC pumps, one of which we were going to use for the GPU loop, but instead we're putting these together for the CPU loop. And as you saw off the aquaero there, we're getting about 185 liters per hour. So we gained about 65 liters per hour, which is a good increase. And so that should help us out because, as you guys know, we've got a pretty restrictive loop for the motherboard and CPU and everything. So things are working better. So here we've got our 3 GTX 780 classifieds, which if you've been following this build, you've seen it go from the 680s, which I had, to not being able to get water blocks made for those. So we switched over to the 780s that just came out not too long ago. So right now what we're doing is just trying to fit everything in the case. We're gonna get water blocks for these, obviously, but we're trying to see what we need to do to the flooring at this point. And we've got a custom floor that's gonna be going in to make this all flush and clean, but we're trying to space everything out for the Lutro Customs sleeved cables here, which then we're going to run into our lower compartment. And I've got just the standard pinouts for the power supply that came with that.
So until Andrew gets his 3 hydro copper blocks from EVGA, and those are coming out
Within the next few weeks, we think. Big quotes around that. Today is August 5th. So once those come, we can get those installed, and then what we need to do is finalize the floor and have that painted, and just cinch up some other little details. But in the meantime, we've been posting photo updates on the modzoo.com under the member work logs. Look for the Rebel Alliance build, and you can follow our progress until we have part 5 out for all you guys with the final build. We promise we're this close.